Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. We are so excited to have everyone join us. We have a very special presentation today with our dear friend Paul Mork. Paul is the co-chair, one of the co-chairs for the Calgary chapter of Dying with Dignity. So he's here today to talk to us about advanced care planning, and we are so excited to have you, Paul, and listen to everything that you have to say. So come on with the information, and if everybody online will join me in a nice big virtual welcome and round of applause for Paul. Hi, Paul.
Thank you, thank you. All right, I want to get started with just a couple of points. First of all, Dying with Dignity Canada is a charity, and we run these presentations with a generous donation of folks just like you. These donations help cover the cost of printing, uh, rental for rooms, administrative operations, etc. $20 qualifies you for a charitable receipt. If you would like to donate, simply sign into dyingwithdignity.ca. That's the website, and one of the banners at the top is donate. So that's how simple that is. I would like to acknowledge that we're presenting from Calgary, the traditional territories and people of the Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta and homeland to the Métis. As we live, work, play on this land, may we grow in understanding, envision future and equitable just. Dying with Dignity has 13 chapters across Canada, raising awareness sessions just like this one. We promote the importance of having an acute care plan and personal directive in place. We remind Canadians that medical assistance in dying is a legal end of life option for those, only for those that qualify. Our group of volunteers believe that dying, like living, is a natural part of our life and should be openly discussed and planned for. We're here because we care. We're passionate about this subject. We want you to not only uh, live your best life, but to also be able to plan your best death. So, when you dine with Dignity's websites, a treasure trove of information, webinars, and other educational resources. So please spend some time after today's presentation researching some of the other topics that may pique your interest.
Okay.
So this is Jennifer Zelmer. This recording was from 2023. Uh, we have been using her for about 5 years to cover advanced care planning and also the goals of care. And we'll talk about it, goals of care just slightly. But she's the one to watch for that because she works for Alberta Health Services, and goals of care can be a little complicated,
Mm-hmm.
as you'll see. Okay. I will be using the Dying with Dignity Advanced Care Planning Kit as a guide using during this workshop. We have provided you, sorry, we don't provide you with a copy because you guys are on virtual. Is written for Canadians in general. The terminology is not province specific, and the terminology does differ from provinces to provinces. Please reference the terminology chart within the kit. Today we're using Alberta-specific terms. Let's have a quick review of the resources in front of you. Okay. Whoops. So let's have a quick look. We've got Dying with Dignity's Advanced Care Planning Kit, and then you also download the personal directive form. And then the last step. document. Okay, so this cartoon captures the essence of the life and death. These conversations can take place anywhere, anytime. Since you die only once, our obligation is to ensure the end of life event is one our families are prepared for. That's why we're here today, is to get the planning started. Just read these surprising statistics. There's a few that I'll take out. Uh, First of all, the seniors, our group is quickly outpacing all other age groups, and they say it should be 2.5 million Canadians by 2046. Uh,
Wow.
and that at the time of death, 70% need assistance in decision making. That's a huge percentage. 85 of those in long-term care have no capacity and can spend 10 years there. Only 20% of us die a natural, non-medical event, death. And you can read the rest. The last one's of note there. Only 20% of spouses know what each other's end of life wishes are.
Yeah, it's definitely something that needs to be talked about as early as possible because you never know
Yeah,
when you're
for sure.
gonna
Yeah.
go.
So, 82% of people surveyed on a recent survey know that it's important for you to put down your wishes in writing.
Yes.
8 out of 10 do not have a written plan.
Paul, can I ask you while we're switching slides, if someone doesn't have the money to go to a lawyer and get a will drawn up, are they able to just write it
Perfect
down on
question.
paper?
Perfect question. I'll cover that in my lecture.
Excellent. Okay.
Okay. Uh, After all, sorry, and most of us believe it is important for us to write down our wishes, but most of us don't do it. After all, we're only human. And despite good intentions, procrastination tends to set in.
Mhm.
Fewer than 20% of us uh, have planned for unexpected health events such as strokes, car accident, coma. The best time to think about your end of life choices is when you are well and absolutely love buying a car. It's like buying a car insurance. It won't prevent the accident, but it might make you better prepared if we do. Today, let's hope we change these statistics. So, what is advanced care planning? Well, it's just as we've ticked off here. It's given some thought to your end of life wishes. In the next slide, I will show you an umbrella of all the different stages, and it's important for adults of all ages and stages of life. Not only anybody that's over 18 should be having an advanced care plan and a personal directive. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Uh, okay, so the next slide is the umbrella. So we believe that there's 5 areas that should be covered in your advanced care plan. Oops. Planning something why there's my umbrella. That's what I wanted to get. There's 5 areas that should be covered with advanced care plan. Estate planning is what happens with your stuff, like real estate holdings, cars, jewelry, valuables, and the list goes on and on and on. Financial preparedness refers to what happens with my money. However, whatever that may be, is financial investments, pensions, beneficiaries, immunities, to name just a few. It's important to review these documents to ensure your choice beneficiary is correct. The next one's values and beliefs. This refers to what we're doing here today. What's going to be put into your personal directive refers to your personal thoughts, values, beliefs, whether they are about religion, customs, long-standing ideas, feelings, basically anything. We want to be buried, or do we want to be cremated, for example? So there's ongoing discussions refers to the fact that your estate financial situation and values and beliefs can all change day to day, week to week, year to year, as as it vitally keep the conversation discussions about it. You would off the top of your head say that you wouldn't have a quality of life if you were wheelchair bound. If you find yourself in a wheelchair, your attitude to that changes. You're going, this isn't quite so bad. I can at least get around now, right? So then there's the health documents, refers to being up to date with a list of medications, your ailment conditions, surgeries, most important, your healthcare goals to ensure your wishes are met at the time of need. The key here with the health documents is make sure that your agent with the personal directive knows where they are and how to get a hold of them. Okay, so this is a summary of wills take effect after you're dead. So that doesn't have anything to do with you living on. Enduring power of attorney manage financial affairs while you're alive, but are unable to do so yourself. A personal directive takes effect while you're still alive, but unable to speak for yourself. So those are the three documents that you're really advised to have. There are no that it's there's no legislation telling you you have to have them, but they're all identified in different pieces of Alberta legislation. Okay, so the three things that I want you to concentrate when you get into the website is the Advanced Care Planning Kit, the personal directive for each province. Each province has a specific one because of the terms, and you are naming your agent in Alberta, and that you're going to do as part of the uh, doing your personal directive. Okay, so advanced care planning is a process that is best done while you're healthy and not undergoing any stressful situations. By planning ahead, you'll have discussions with your loved ones while no one is under the gun to make rash decisions under pressure. There's a lot to consider. Your values, your beliefs, preferences related to your personal care, as well as your medical care. Don't assume people know how you feel about things that are important to you. There's a lot of discussions to make, and you'll want yourself or your loved ones to be making the decisions on your behalf under duress and pressure. Allow decisions to be made in a calm environment. Write everything down. Document all of the important parts of your advanced care plan. Do not assume people will remember or follow through on your wishes if they have not been written in the stone. Reviewing your advanced care plan on a regular basis is so important as your values and beliefs can change, like the example of whether or not you could tolerate being in a wheelchair. Your health may take a turn for the worse, and your executor, enduring power of attorney, and personal directive agents may have a change of circumstances which can no longer carry out their given roles. Remember, your advanced care plan can be changed at any time, provided you're mentally competent. So, what is a personal directive? Well, it's a legal document. As a matter of fact, under the provincial jurisdiction of Alberta is a little act called Personal Directive Act of Alberta. Go figure. And it's written while you are well and able to make decisions. The document states your wishes for medical personal care, just in case you become unable to speak for yourself at any time in the future. On it, you appoint an agent or agents on your behalf, uh, should you be unable to speak for yourself. That's your appointed agent right there. Now, why do you need a personal directive? Who needs a personal directive? I mean, if somebody obviously that has been diagnosed with a terminal condition should have a personal directive. Uh, who else? I started thinking about this when I started watching Diagonal Dignity's advanced care planning presentations, and I came up with this statement. If you are at risk of losing your mental competency at any moment, you need a personal director. Well, guess what? That's each and every one of us. You're only one medical or traumatic event away from losing your mental capacity. Unfortunately, bad things do happen. And here you are, is your question, Sarah.
Mm.
It can be written on a napkin. There is no restriction. You do not need a lawyer. It can be done between you and your personal agent. It only requires the four things under your Directives Act. First one must revoke the previous personal directives. You remember the old directive is no heroics. That is kind of open to a lot of, like you're not allowed to fly around with a cape on. I don't know what is the heroic efforts.
Hmm.
Must be signed by you, must be dated, and it must be witnessed. So let's talk a little bit about your witness. Well, it needs to be at least 18 years old. There's a few of these that are kind of comical, actually. It needs to sign and initial each section where you have signed and initialed. Needs to sign the personal directive in front of you. So you can't fill your personal directive out and then invite them over to witness for you. So the witness and at least you or the witness need to be together when you're doing the personal directive. And everybody needs to be there when you're doing it. So you can't fill it out and then have them come over and sign it and it's a done deal. Okay, who cannot witness? The person listed in as your agent, the spouse or partner of your agent, your spouse or partner, the person or proxy who's signing your personal directive on behalf of you. Sometimes people are unable to actually sign their initials or signatures, so they would have somebody that they trust that's of age that can come in and write for you. That's called a proxy. So they can't be used, and the spouse or a partner of that proxy cannot be used. Okay, you appoint an agent. It's legal requirement. Uh, there are legal requirements around that. Personal considerations, appointing more than one. That's what we're going to cover. Okay, so it's a huge responsibility to be an agent. It's a tough decision to decide who should be your agent. I'll help you out with a couple of really important traits that you want to be looking for. They're going to be looking after your health care, your accommodations, that makes sense, uh, with whom you may live or associate. That kind of took me aback. Legal matters that do not relate to your estate. So, who do I appoint as my agent? You have to be a legal age, mentally capable. So, in other words, not in the same place you would be after you lose your competency. Readily available. This is a very important one. If you send an email or phone message and somebody doesn't get back for 2 or 3 days, that's probably not a good person to have. So, not prohibited by court order. I had a chuckle with this one. I don't think I would be asking somebody I had a restraining order on. So, trust and follow your wishes and not to do what they would do. So this is probably the most important one. And I'll give you the example for my uh, lawyers sign you up with three documents: the will, the power of attorney, and then personal directive. And so they're all very, vanilla and, recipes and all that sort of stuff. But nowhere do they say that the whole idea of somebody being your agent is that they'll follow your wishes and not do what they would do. So, can you have more than one agent? Of course, you can have more than one. We recommend at least two. Some people recommend at least three, so there wouldn't possibly be a tie. But that only is if you like to work jointly. So either so the first example is Sally and Bob must work jointly because the term "and" was used in your personal directive. So joint agents must agree on your care. When's the last time you saw any of your sons or daughters agree?
Hmm.
Uh, but Sally and Bob can work independently, with Sally being the first one contacted. And then they can't get a hold of Sally, then they can push on and get a hold of Bob. And the next time you need to talk to one of the two, you repeat the process. So that's the difference between the two. It's how you phrase it in your personal directive. So if I don't appoint an agent, you could still file your personal directive. They don't prohibit you from doing so. But if the hospital gets there and there is no personal directive, or you haven't named an agent, then here's the hierarchy. So, of course, your spouse, your children, uh, your siblings, or other relative, or even a friend. You can't actually even have the Office of the Public Guardian Trustee do it, but they want the request in writing and justification for why they cannot find anybody in their pool of friends and family. So we're going to look at the one form. When you get your green sleeve, the Alberta government form will be there, and it also can be done uh, with live edits and then printed out at the end. And then the one that I'm recommending is the one for dying with dignity, the Alberta form. What I love about it is that it has a whole bunch of scenarios, so it's more practical for you and your agent to understand what you do and do not want in certain circumstances. Makes it uh, much more specific than no heroes. So that's why I recommend it. And so fill it out online. on the Dying with Dignity website, and then you can print it out. Here's the stuff that you need to document. Now, there isn't necessarily room in the document for all of these parts, but you can add addendums to your personal directive. And as many as you want, you just can just keep on adding addendums or notations. There are several areas where you can write other related subjects. And that's what we're talking about here. Is it this has to be all thought about their healthcare, nutrition, accommodations, clothing, hygiene, safety, and personal relations. So imagine this is your last day of life. Where would you like to spend it? Is there's a particular place you want to do? What would you like to be doing? Who do I want to be with? Is there food or drink that I can't stand and please don't feed to me? I love liver and onions. Nobody else seems to. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite drink? Uh, how spiritual are you? Do you want somebody from your religion to come in and visit you on a regular basis? Then please say that in your personal directive. If you want somebody to do certain blessings after you pass, put that in your personal directive. And then there's legacy projects. If you're not familiar with that term, it's who gets what. That's more so than financial. So that would be the executor and the power of attorney. But the agent, where there is, you know, certain decisions that have to be made. How do you want to be remembered? Some people actually do videos of themselves or write a farewell letter to their family. That's all stuff you can attach to your personal directive. Okay, so that after you complete your personal directive online, you print it out. Now, Alberta is one of the few provinces that allow us to do that. Uh, many other provinces, uh, you print off a copy with an original signature and dating for each and every one you give it to, so that you can have as many as a half a dozen or 10 copies that you got to sign. In Alberta, you would just sign the one and then photocopy and distribute it. So, who should get copies of your personal directive? Well, the number one should be in the green sleeve envelope. Uh, that's a gift you're given from Alberta Health Services through pharmacies, your doctors, family doctors, uh, uh, hospitals, nursing homes. They all have these green sleeve envelopes for you. And within that one, you can have, I'll talk about that in a few minutes here. But in the green sleeve, we add a copy of the personal directive. You give it to one, both of, or all six of your agents, however many you decide. Uh, each one has to have a copy. And to your family physician, when you go and meet with your family physician to get the green sleeve when you feel you need one. So that's sort of done at the same time. I didn't have a green sleeve on my fridge until my wife passed away. I do now. And I didn't have any discussions with my family physician about my end of life choices until after my wife passed away, of course. So don't wait. Uh, you can have a copy given to your lawyer, but it's absolutely optional. It's not mandatory in Alberta. Original of your own personal directive file. So in my file cabinet downstairs, I have a personal directive file, and that's where the original is. Not in the safety deposit box. Nobody knows where your key is. Nobody knows what's in there. No, don't put it in your safety deposit box. This has got to be readily available. Okay, so making changes in your personal directive. You can change your personal directive anytime you want. You review it every 2 years is what we recommend when reviewed, and no changes are made. This particular one from Dying with Dignity has the ability to sign, I think it's three places that you reviewed it on such and such a date, and you and your witness have initialed it and signed it. And then you make sure you uh, have the current form of your personal directive uh, with your agents. They're the most critical people to have the up-to-date copy.
Paul,
Anybody?
can I
Yes.
ask, what if you've got multiple agents and
Well,
only one of them has the up-to-date copy and somebody else doesn't? Like, what if like someone thinks they have the most up-to-date copy? How do you know after somebody's gone, oh, this isn't the most up-to-date copy. I thought it was. What
yeah,
if
and,
what if
and
it wasn't
that's
given?
what I mean. If you know you've got six people in your personal directive, and you can't have that many in the Alberta government's to make everything complicated, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so there's all of those parts that I've got in the presentation there as what does a personal directive include, or sort of the powers of the agent include. Uh, that you could, in the Alberta form, have a different agent for each one of those categories.
Hmm,
So it really becomes complicated.
absolutely. I don't
Yeah.
even know six people.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure you do.
Well, you're being kind.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, the big takeaway here is make sure that your agent always has agents always have an up-to-date copy. So there. Okay, so now tips about talking to your healthcare providers when you go and get your green sleeve and give them your personal directive. You do, you know, you want to talk about your wishes and end of life care. Bring a personal directive. You have to have an appointment, of course. Share the thoughts of someone else's death you might have witnessed. For example, my father died of prolonged death with dementia, and I would like something different for myself. Consider bringing your agent or friend along with to the appointment or spouse so that you have more than one set of ears. Okay, so next few minutes we're going to talk about the green sleeve. Alberta Health Services refers to this as your health passport, and it contains the three documents: your personal directive, a tracking sheet, so who added what to it and what dates, and the actual goals of care form. And what the goals of care are is it divides your it takes your values from your personal directive and it puts it into a doctor's and healthcare understandable order. So there's three levels uh, of care written in the goals of care. There's resuscitative care. There's actually three subsets in that one. Medical care, there's two subsets, and comfort care, there's two subsets. So what's the first uh, level of resuscitative care is R1, and that is the entire gamut. That's what you want, and that's what you'll get if you don't tell them otherwise. So that's why this course of care is so important. As you age and become more brittle, uh, cardiopulmonary resuscitation is actually very, very painful
Hmm.
for somebody that survives a cardiac arrest. You can be resuscitated, But who wants to live, 24 hours a day in absolute agony, right? Punctured lungs sometimes. It's got all kinds of things you've got to think about. Yeah, I'm young. I'm only 74 now.
Ooh, you don't look a day over 25, Paul.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Anyways, so I still am an R1, and I haven't had any reason to change that. Uh, so if you don't want to be, so basically level one is defibrillation and CPR is not done. Level two is uh, CPR, or sorry, that's level two. CPR and uh, no ICU admission. That's done, and that's R3. And so that way the doctor can be very specific about what level of care you get when you come in. The attending physician can talk to you if you're still mentally competent, and you can override this. This is only for if you don't have your senses about you. That's all, or unconscious or sedated or okay. Anyways, the M is medical care. That means you don't want to be resuscitated. You don't want to go into ICU, but you will tolerate certain medicines, penicillins, that kind of stuff like that. And you specify which ones. And then the last category is comfort care. And it's just that. It's keeping you comfortable. Okay, so to wrap this up, the good news and bad news about personal directives. The good news, of course, you get your peace of mind for you and your family. You have directions for your agent and healthcare team. The bad news is first responders and emergency room staff are committed to saving lives and will do everything they can to do so. Resuscitation is the default treatment in Alberta, so you have to have your personal directive and your goals of care right there in the face of the paramedics when they arrive.
Yep.
So we recommend the top of the fridge. Somebody I presented this to said in Manitoba, they actually recommend in a Ziploc bag in the freezer
Ah,
because that makes sure a fire doesn't eat it.
oh, that's very good. That's a good idea. I
Yeah.
think
So,
anybody that knows of goals of care or green sleeves, whether that be a healthcare provider or community classes or services, EMTs, older adults, we all think, okay, green envelope on the top of the fridge. So yeah, I love that. It's
yeah, but
still
if it's
near the
not on top
fridge,
of the fridge and it's in the freezer,
in the freezer. I love that. I love that
yeah,
idea.
but I haven't sold that to the Alberta Health Services
We're
yet.
working on it, Paul. I got your back.
Okay, sounds good. Anyways, the point, the really salient point here is that it's up to you as the patient, your agents to make sure that the call, if somebody calls 911 or if you take somebody to emerge, they're still going to resuscitate unless you tell them otherwise. Okay? So that's all I wanted to do with that one. The next section is knowing your rights. These are a few of the really important ones that we want everybody to know that they have rights in this country, in Canada, and in this province. You need to be fully informed of all your treatment options, and then you can make a conscious decision about which one you want. But if they only tell you only half the options, that is your right to ask, is there any other options? And then a right to a second opinion. You're allowed to refuse or discontinue any treatment. My wife was vehemently opposed to a nose tube. And when it came time, I had to really talk her into getting a nose feeder. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, but she was not going to do it. Yeah,
They
and
are
you
the
know what?
worst.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
her right.
Hmm.
Yeah, and you have right to decline CPR. You have the right to request medical assistance in dying, but only in a select few. You have to qualify first. Okay, remember Logan Boulet?
Hmm.
He directly helped 6 people with his generous donation of his body and his organs. It's never too soon to have this end of life conversation. When you renew your driver's license, make sure your organ donor icon is on your driver's license if you're so inclined.
That's right. You never know.
That's great. As you see, your advanced care planning is not something that takes place overnight. You need to start the conversation with yourself and then bring your family in, friends, trusted others into the discussion of your advanced care plan. Putting together your advanced care plan may seem
Mm.
like the most selfish thing that you could ever do because it truly is just about you. We believe that your family and friends will feel very blessed with your advanced care plan, and they will agree that by you having a advanced care plan, you're being very extremely selfless. You're enabling your loved ones you leave behind to honor your wishes, and they could feel very thankful that you did it. Conversations get started by inviting your family and friends to watch the webinar on advanced care planning, just like you folks have done today, and invite them. Uh, you can actually sit down and watch the one we had recommended, the Jennifer one. You can sit them down and watch her uh, presentation. It's very, very good. So please get the conversation started today.
Now, Paul, if I could just interject, because we had a good conversation going in the chat box, a good question here. So somebody messaged in and said, "I'm confused because I was told at an advanced directive session that we should not place the green sleeve in the fridge or freezer. It should go on top of it in Alberta." And I mean, I can venture a
But that's
guess as
that's
to
what that's
why.
what I said. That's
Yeah.
what I said. We have that's the norm.
Yes,
Yeah.
on top of the fridge, which is what
Now,
we all know in Alberta. But in Manitoba, somebody placed it in their freezer. Is that a
yeah,
difference? I
I
mean, just
I think
provinces or?
that was sort of adapted by whatever presenters talked to this guy originally.
Yeah, okay.
This is just about a month ago here in Calgary.
Yeah. So
Uh,
just for
yeah,
clarity, everybody,
yeah,
we should have our
very
green
good.
sleeves
Yes,
on top of our freezer.
yeah,
But Paul was saying that when he was at another session, somebody from Manitoba was saying, "Oh, they put theirs in a Ziploc bag in their freezer." And I said, "Oh, that's a good idea." And Paul said, "Yes, if there's a fire, then it doesn't burn." So that's where that conversation came from.
yeah.
But in
That's
Alberta, just so everybody's clear, yes, green sleeve goes on top of the fridge,
yeah.
not
But,
inside the freezer.
let me just interject. We have on the website, we have a single page declaration that you have a personal directive, and they tell you to tape that to the front of the fridge, and there you could put in there it's in the freezer.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
Yeah. So that's there's a space there for the exact spot for my personal directive, and that's taped to the face of the fridge.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that anybody could see it.
yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, we got you covered. All right. Hang on. I got a few more issues. Now, Section 8 on the medical directive, personal directive for Alberta has a blank page for you to write how you want to be helped or dealt with as far as uh, personal directives, made or not made. Uh, I, I, this is where you document the statement that I have come up with. It was actually not me. It was another volunteer out of Ontario for Dying with Dignity, who himself is the patient that has dementia, and he just knows it's coming. And so he wrote his own. And in Alberta, it is absolutely illegal for us to put it on in our personal directive. Uh, some of the other provinces, by the fact that it's not legally able to be done or suggested by your agent, it not be even mentioned. Uh, the suggested wording that I have on here is so the very first line is actually not very controversial. So I'm a supporter of one's choice to access medical assistance in dying, and that in case I cannot advocate for myself, so in other words, it hasn't been legalized. Uh, they would appreciate the doctor steering my condition toward end of life. That's called palliative sedation in the palliative care arena. So that is absolutely something that they can do. The other two are applying for the MAID, and that can't be done if you are not mentally competent. So,
So you can't say it, you can't sign it, and it,
well,
like
no,
let's say somebody's
you can put it in your personal directive because this is your directions to your family and the healthcare
so
providers.
you can say like for MAID, for instance. So if if someone gets dementia and then they say, okay, I want to make sure I sign this medical assistance in death and dying before my my cognition
Yeah,
like starts to decline,
exactly.
you can do that. Or
As
no, you
long as you're
can't.
mentally competent.
Okay.
And then another part of the administration of a maid is that the doctor has to either have a waiver of agreement, which is allowed under Audrey's amendment
Hmm.
in C7 in the Canadian Charter of Rights.
Okay.
So you are allowed to that particular provider is allowed to give the medications required uh, if the patient has agreed to it before he lost his mental competence.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. I wasn't sure if you said legal or illegal. Sorry, Paul.
No, it's legal.
Legal. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. But only between the two of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the other thing that pops in at this is my advance request. Is that this is basically what I've got here is my advance request, and it is not legal. It cannot be followed
Okay.
at this point in time, except for Quebec.
Oh, okay.
Quebec, they can sign a waiver of consent and done like dirt.
Okay. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. Okay. So in summary, don't wait. Get your personal directive completed, or if you already have one, make sure you review it to ensure it's up to date and reflects your wishes today. And make sure the agents are still willing and active. So do it. Talk to people. Go to your family doctors. Talk to your doctor, your loved ones, work through the exercises in the toolkit, starting on page 15. Review your wishes with your agents and your family doctor. Uh, and then the final one is complete and review your goals of care uh, near your fridge. Your green sleeve is it is called the health passport. Okay, the information presented today is complete to the best of our knowledge and is intended for your general reference only. It does not replace specific medical, legal, or financial services advice you may need. Everyone's situation is unique, and therefore no two personal directives will be alike. And then a reminder of the Trevor Cho's of information is available and Dying with Dignity's website. Just literally hundreds and hundreds of documents and presentations, and so have fun.
Mhm.
And last questions.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Paul. This was amazing. I want to say so just while anybody's just off in the virtual rooms there, if you can think of any questions that you want to type in and ask Paul while we've got them. While they're typing, Paul, I'll just say usually I have about five or so questions, at least a handful of questions at the end of any given presentation that I host. But I got to ask all my questions as I was thinking of them. And I think that you were very thorough and very knowledgeable. And I did learn a lot. I love the goals of care talk. I think that that is so important. So I manage our adult day program at Unison at Kirby.
Yeah,
And upon admission, I do ask, does your loved one have a goals of care completed,
yeah,
personal directive, and goals of care green sleeve? And the amount of times that I hear no, it's not hard and fast that I need it, but it is beneficial to have. And I do really strongly encourage you guys to get that completed with your family physician. It's just
yeah.
so important, just so that
And
our
I
rights
remind
are.
you that Jennifer's webinar from 2023 has a really good explanation on goals of care.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. So, oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Um, well, if there's no other questions in the chat box there, then I will just go ahead and thank you, Paul, so much for being here with me today. Thank you for all
You're
the
very welcome.
education, all the jokes, all the laughs. I thank you for putting up with me and my interjecting all the time. And it was really wonderful to have you today. And everybody else watching, don't forget to come on back next week. We are going to welcome two wonderful guest hosts. We're going to talk about maintaining peripheral neuropathy. So that is going to be, we're going to understand it. We're going to learn how to maintain it. It's going to be wonderful. So join me next week. It's on April 30th. So until next time, I like to give everybody in the audience hearts as well as my co-hosts. So Paul, thank you so much for being
No
here.
problem.
Okay, everybody take care. Thank you.